Hello and welcome to the 79th Special Moves podcast. We've started, I guess. This is Jake and Liam. My name's Mike Williams.
Hey, gamers.
Hi, gamers. Jake, why don't you run these things like past us before fucking just changing the strategy? Do you know what I mean?
Give people a shot of energy first thing in the morning.
I'm hearing hi, gamers.
Do you know what I mean? That's the thing. Already you're intrigued, you're shocked. You listen, you're alert. Do you know what I mean? Boom.
Yeah. You're a top marketing man, Jake.
That's exactly it. Get them in their soul, man. Yeah.
Excellent work, man. What you been up to this week, guys?
Not a lot, to be honest. Played some games. That's about it. That's really it.
Yep. Working quite hard this week, actually, and then helping my family out in my spare time, remotely, safely, quarantinely, but also managed to play some games because, Legends of Runeterra launched this week, which is like such a big part of my life. I'm not even going to bother talking about it because it's just obvious at this point. But Runeterra is out. I've been playing ranked. I'm already like platinum. I'll be diamond by the end of the day probably. And yeah, the grind is real. But that's been good. I've been doing that between other things. I played Cloudpunk, new indie game that came out just last week, and I played Streets of Rage 4. I installed Gears Tactics, but I haven't had a chance to play it yet. And that's kind of been me, really, to be honest. Like, I haven't even played Call of Duty because there's been a big fat update again, and I don't have the time to get me. So
I haven't played it either. I fired my PlayStation up, and then I saw there was like it was quite big, wasn't it? It was like 10, 15 gig or something like that.
And then there was another 15 gig as soon as you start up the game.
Oh.
Yep, so it's a 30 gig update. That's the thing, right? So I did the first 15 gig, and then it was like, you need to install this one manually. And then
was it another module, was it?
It actually is. It actually was. It's called like Data Pack 1 or something. And then you end up... but then at that point, it was like, oh, and your PlayStation's very full, by the way, Jake. You might want to get rid of something. Yeah. And I think, you know what? I'm not a slave to you. So I haven't played it.
How big is it now, though? It must be like
189 gig. Is that right, Liam?
That's a joke.
I think it's just under 180 at the minute. Because okay. I was going through my PS4 the other day, cleaning some stuff out that I haven't played forever, and it was like 176, something like that. It's going to be 200 in a month.
By the time this podcast goes out, it'll be 200.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, it's just going to get to a point where it's like that's the only thing you can have on your PlayStation. It's mad, really. It's but it's all going to change the next gen, and we talked about that, didn't we, quite recently on the podcast?
Yeah. Well, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
Liam gave, it was either that or the bonus podcast, but Liam gave some insightful information about why games might even be smaller, which does sound like a Vice article at first.
I was just parroting what I heard from Digital Foundry.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah. You weren't being a pundit or whatever, were you? But but that's information that I didn't know, and I actually thought it makes sense. Like, it's quite plausible. Now I want to believe it that games will be, if not the same size, a bit smaller. So
you don't.
I think we should start a new bonus podcast called Special Foundry, and just hope they don't come after us.
Special Foundry. You've been playing too much 90s RTS games, mate. That sounds like an unlockable for the GDI.
I'm pretty sure it is, but I've been I've been playing a bit of weird shit. I haven't played anything all week, right? And then yesterday I finished work like on a Friday and that, and I just was a bit of a kind of I was just knackered, and I just didn't want to play anything, and I sort of watched Community for hours and hours and hours and hours. I've seen it like a million times, but I didn't care.
It's on Netflix now,
and then I was it is worth watching because it's the best TV show ever. But I also when it was about sort of early evening, like Laura was doing some shit with her friends on like Zoom or whatever, so I was like, fucking right, I'll go and play some PC games.
Gears Tactics just came out. Seems your thing. XCOM Canada Squad's out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's all lining up, isn't it?
You've got the Game Pass as well, so you don't have to pay for it.
Yeah, and it's been out for a long time, so I'd have had plenty of time. It's been about a week now, isn't it? Or it's been
Tuesday or something.
Days.
Days. Yeah.
So plenty of time to download it. So of course I spent my Saturday evening playing Lego Rock Raiders, the 1999 kind of unobtainable PC base management game, which is...
I feel like the word seminal should also be in there.
That's respectable.
Yeah. I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun playing it. It's terrible. It just hasn't held up at all, and it looks terrible. And I didn't even like bother trying to make it like widescreen or see if there was any more.
You didn't download the legions of fan patches, the widescreen.
No, I didn't go on the Lego Rock Raiders Nexus mods to see if they had any stuff for it. I just played it as it was, like 640 by 480 or whatever like that.
Nice.
on my
As God intended.
The artist's original vision. And it was kind of a weird thing. You know when I get this quite a lot actually when I'm just sitting in front of my PC and then I quite fancy playing loads of different things, and I kind of went through a few games in my library and stuff, and I downloaded a load of things overnight. I downloaded Supreme Commander, which I haven't played a lot of, and I've talked a lot about Total Annihilation and stuff in the past, and it's kind of a spiritual sequel to that strategy game, and I downloaded that, and I downloaded Homeworld Remastered and all these other things. But no, man, it's Lego Rock Raiders, isn't it? It's the 128 megabyte game that I was playing loads of.
Nice.
And it was good. It was good to play some like PC games again. I'll tell you one thing that I thought was it was kind of a big decision for me in a way, because I feel like I can only have one Total War game on the PC at a time, right? And I fired up Warhammer 2, started a campaign with one, and it's like, in theory, it's like the best kind of fantasy strategy, toy box you can get, because it's just all different races and all, massive map and, really deep strategic gameplay and stuff. And I just kind of didn't go on with it very well at all. And I never have really with Total War Warhammer 2. It really has never felt as kind of amazing, and it's never landed as strongly as the first Warhammer did. And I think, I don't know if it's just the setting or whatever, but, all the races, I don't know. But I kind of uninstalled it, and I went back and I re-downloaded Three Kingdoms, which I still have only played about 12 hours of. So I really need to give that another go.
Yeah.
Did you guys play that? I can't remember.
No,
did you play Total War Three Kingdoms? Did you, James?
For about 45 minutes.
And
that was it. Yeah. But that's the last. For those that aren't that in tune, that's the latest. The latest Total War, right? And it's one that was a bit of a departure from the because I don't know. The perception is right, and I say perception because I'm speaking in the real world, right? Not just on the YouTube comments. It pisses people off, you'd think, if you just looked at YouTube comments, because they did Warhammer and Warhammer 2, which, it's not real.
Right.
And then they did this one, which is almost like in reality, but like it's got some fantastical elements as well. Yeah, right. Which is like exaggerated, fable-esque stories of big heroes, and everybody is like, again, the perception is everybody is crying about it. But I have got a funny feeling if you play it, you'd probably enjoy it. Well, actually, all them wankers are playing Mountain Blade too. So to be honest, maybe now's a good time.
Well, I did want to give it a good go, and I like the historical one. I love the historical ones. That's the Warhammer was the first fantasy one kind of thing, and Total War Warhammer, the first one, is just my favorite one. It's just the best strategy game there's been that's done that kind of thing and giving you a sense of scale and giving you dwarves fighting orcs and all these different races that feel completely different to play. It's fantastic. It's really, really good. The second one, I just don't know. There's never clicked with me. And then Three Kingdoms, I just never give it enough of a shake. I just don't know what it was.
If only you could break your golden rule of only one Total War at a time and just installed 1 and 2 at the same time and played the Mortal Empires campaign.
No, I know what you're saying, and that's what I've got. I've got the Mortal Empires and I've got all that stuff going. But then you then have like these really big turn times and shit like that, and there's things happening on islands over there that you're just never going to see and stuff. And
it's mad. It's actually mad how much downtime there is.
Yeah, and if you and you just can't. If they had the first campaign from Total War Warhammer, then there's no point that existing. But if they did like a Left 4 Dead 2 kind of scenario and just put that actual campaign where it was just the old world as well, maybe I would spend some more time playing it. But, I don't know. But yeah, Three Kingdoms, I need to give it a really good go.
So you think that might be next on your list?
Yeah, hopefully. I've got nothing for the foreseeable on PlayStation, to be honest.
Well, no, you've already said it's a dairy cow out to pasture now. You know.
I had a look at the sales and stuff. There's nothing really. I feel like I've played everything I want to play in it. You know what I mean?
Well, you are in a position where you have had more than enough interest in the console over a couple of years, and it's kind of been in your, like, it was your job for some years. So, like, you know, you are spent, I think. But The Last of Us, you know what I mean? Like, you are done. Like, you're done on it, aren't you?
All right, Tolkien. I mean,
Ghost of Tsushima and Last of Us 2 are both out in the next 2 months.
Yeah.
Which are like...
I'm more excited about Ghost of Tsushima, to be honest. But
for me, it's the opposite, just because, like, I know that The Last of Us can deliver, because, like, I've played The Last of Us 1, and then Last of Us 2 is just going to be more of the same, right? Or so I hope. I mean, the whole game got kind of spoiled. We'll talk about that, I guess, when we talk about this email. But but Ghost of Tsushima, like, the only reason, like, I was excited for it, because, like, I had that itch that needed scratching, like, when I saw the trailers and shit. Yeah. But then I played Sekiro. So I kind of feel like I got everything I needed from that and more. Like, to the point where, like, FromSoft have done it so much now that I don't really know. But unless it's got, like, a really good, like, cinematic sit you down and tell you things story, which I normally complain about, you know, like Horizon Zero Dawn. That's the bit I didn't like the story. Do you know, like, what's his name? Cedric Daniels from The Wire. I can't remember what his name is. Lance Reddick?
Yeah.
Him popping out of every fucking smartwatch in the game, just going, I'm the good guy. But then when I played, like, just having fun and, like, shooting the dinosaurs and whatnot, I had a nice time. But with Ghost of Tsushima, like, I want that now. I want the game to, like, keep saying, oh, this is Lord whatever his name is, and here he is burning the lands. You need to stop him. Like, I want to have, like, a bit of a cinematic thing, because Sekiro is such a video game, if you get me. Like, it's not as cinematic. There's still, like, an obvious, clear hero's quest story. It's like a Greek way of telling stuff. But, like, I'm looking for it to be more of, like, like, I don't know, a film or something, if you get me.
Yeah, no, totally. And I'm well up for it. I'm just, I think, so it's funny how, you know, you get similar games of a similar theme or, like, you know, setting coming along at once. And I've always said that before. You've had loads of, like, Vietnam games coming out at the same time on PS2 and shit. And now you've kind of had Neo and Sekiro and this, and, you know, they're all kind of bunching up in a weird way.
Yeah,
it's strange.
And so, well. I mean, this is something that I was talking about this week to my wife, because my mum, I don't know if it's the same with you guys, but, like, you know, everybody is recommending stuff to you more at the moment, or at least to me, because I feel sometimes like everybody, apart from me, is furloughed. Apart from Mike, actually, who's got it worse than me. So if it wasn't for Mike, I'd be feeling like...
Well, but I'm really happy about it. I would rather...
Yeah, you're Don Draper, mate. You're looking for work, right? But everyone else is furloughed, so they're all like, oh, you need to watch this, and I just keep going, oh, it's easy for you to say. Point I'm trying to make is, my mum recommended The Last Kingdom on Netflix, which is like this Viking-y thing. Yeah. And then, funnily enough, the next day, Assassin's Creed started teasing something. And then now I've kind of got it in my head that, like, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which I guess we should talk more about in a second, is coming out in November. We've got Elden Ring next year, which is Norse. The Last Kingdom continues. Does Vikings end this year or next year, or has it already ended? I think this year was the last one, right, or something. Then there's that new Robert Eggers film about Vikings. Like, I feel like Vikings is the flavour for next year. There'll be a new God of War for sure, right? And so I feel like, we're in the sort of Viking renaissance. A far cry from 2008's Viking Battle for Asgard or whatever on the 360 and Human. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. We're like, here we are.
It's funny, isn't it? It's funny. Yeah. There must be something to, like, the market research or something, or you know, there's got to be something, you know, in the, like, business capitalist world, like, driving it. Do you know what I mean?
Do you think it's like because, like, Vikings was doing really well, and now because years like and Game of Thrones, believe, you know, like, that's like, you know, there was a lot, especially the later seasons, there was a lot of Northmen and furs and whatnot, and now 3 years later, it's going more that route, or it could even be like the huge success of God of War, and the setting was so refreshing for that, right? Yeah. But yeah, man, like I don't know. Chat are getting involved here, by the way, saying
they pointed out some good ones.
Yeah, Hellblade 2. That's another one, exactly. Now that's not strictly Viking, but it's close enough, isn't it? Like
Celtic.
Yes.
Well, Hellblade 1 was, wasn't it Vikings that?
I think it's I think it's,
she was Celtic, but she was
a Pict or something, yeah.
But she ventured to the Viking
to take
kind
revenge.
To their thing, yeah. So the second one, I don't know if that'll be more. I don't know. Like from the stuff that you saw off the trailer, it was more like what we have over here, innit? Like the giants and whatnot. But who knows? Like and for us personally, especially if you've been in a radius of Mike, Banner Saga. So it's kind of been in your head, like you know. So I feel like I'm gonna feel fatigued eventually. But for now, I'm feeling pretty up for it. So how do you guys feel about this new Assassin's Creed? Like, what did you think of the reveal and like, how do you feel about this? Because like from what I saw online, people were kind of moaning about Assassin's Creed being an RPG. I haven't played either of the last two, so I'm interested to hear what you guys have got to say about it, really.
I like the more RPG side of it, to be honest. I haven't played Odyssey yet in full. I've played like a bit of it at Mike's house and at EGX a few years ago. I do own it. I haven't played it, but I really liked Origins. I thought it was a nice change of pace for Assassin's Creed. And yeah, like Valhalla, I think looks pretty good so far. The trailer at first really didn't do anything for me because it started with lots of like slow panning shots with a whispery cover of a pop song, which has been every trailer for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
But
true.
I think it's got, when I saw the like screenshots that Ubisoft put out, I was like, okay, you know, this could work. But yeah, the trailer didn't inspire much confidence in me just because it felt very focus tested, I guess. They were like, it was just like people, like, you've got, at this moment, you've got to have the slow pan across the battlefield, bit of brutality. Like,
here's the part where they think all hope is lost, and then you've got the cool, like, hidden blade bit. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
And
clinical.
Yeah, even down to like, oh, he's gonna hit him with the axe as the song drops at the chorus and everything. It's like, the screenshots though, I did like, and I'm quite looking forward to more games in a Norse setting because, like you said, it's not really been explored that much so far outside of God of War and Vikings Battle for Asgard, but. So I'll see. I'm optimistic about Assassin's Creed this year.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, you played Odyssey, right?
Yeah, Liam, if you liked Origins, you'll love Odyssey. I think Odyssey's a great game.
I do have it. It's just it's such a big game that it's a bit daunting the thought of even starting it.
It is. It's massive. It's ridiculously big. It's just it's just the sheer kind of time that you've got to put into it. But you can't say that it's a bad game. You know what I mean? It's one of them things.
Yeah.
And I've had a big sort of turnaround on it, to be honest. I mean, the further I've got away from Assassin's Creed Odyssey, the more I've felt like actually it's fucking really good. Like the detail and the way it kind of immerses you in the world and stuff. And the fact that it's so it's such a good kind of virtual world that's set in history that they actually can use Assassin's Creed games as a way of teaching history, and for that not to be a complete joke is pretty says quite a lot, I think. And I'm really looking forward to the Viking one, and I've only kind of realized I think it was the artwork that first when you guys were showing the whatever it was it a Twitch stream or something where the artist was like working on the...
yeah, that's right. Yeah, so that was like the day before they showed the trailer. They had the guy working on the poster on Photoshop in real time.
Yeah, which was cool. And I've seen about 30 seconds of the trailer and it was mute, but I don't need to see it. Like, I know I'm excited about it, and Assassin's Creed in a Viking setting is great. I'm very eager to see some gameplay, but I think this is definitely going to be like a next gen kind of launch like type title, or at least I'm going to get it as soon as possible whenever the actual release date, if it lines up. But I'll get it so I can play it on next gen kind of thing. And I can't think of a better series to like showcase a new system than an open world fucking tour of historical setting. Yeah, it's gonna be great, I think. And you're right, Liam. I think the whole fucking game is focus tested to fuck as well. Do you know what I mean? Like having the RPG elements, I think they're only there because it works well in like The Witcher and stuff. And it's only because they've been able to see how how much of a good hook it can be. That's why it's there. I think it probably is a bit jarring popping up on top of some dude with a spear in to like your average kind of Call of Duty type gamer. I'm sorry, but do you know what I mean? Like seeing a red bar and having that like classic video gamey type layer on top of it. I think that's the only negative that there is to the RPG stuff. Otherwise, I think it works well. Yeah, I think I prefer Assassin's Creed as it is now to how it used to be.
That's the thing, isn't it? And I guess that's like the sticking point that they're dealing with is like there are like I don't know, like certain stereotypes about the Assassin's Creed series that have all kind of been destroyed now. So like it was a stealth-focused tower climbing parkour game. Parkour was actually like the major thing of it. Yeah. And then like now it's like a different series altogether. So like it's cool like for me because like I feel like I was bored of the Assassin's Creed style stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like the last one I played was Syndicate. And it was quite boring. And it's not my responsibility to give myself a break. I don't think it's anyone's responsibility to give themselves a break from a series. I think it's the developers and publishers kind of responsibility to not flood the market with shit. So like Call of Duty, I'm liking so much because I gave myself a break from the series for years. So now it probably isn't that different than the last one. So, but it still feels like spectacular to me because I haven't played it. So what I'm saying is this Assassin's Creed, like I haven't played the other two. Whilst you were speaking, I just went to see, because I was on Amazon earlier, right? I just went to see how much I'll buy it. I thought I'll buy Odyssey right now, literally right now. Do you know how much it fucking is? £55 Odyssey, because they know everybody's interest. Look at that. 55 smackaroos there, yeah. It's sold out everywhere else as well, and because of the quarantine, I can't. I'll have to get a second-hand copy or something. But like 55 quid they want. But because I've gave myself a break, it can be the most okay game ever. But it's like just what I fancy. Like when you fancy a Big Mac, it doesn't need to be spectacular. It just needs to be what you want it to be in it. And so
I didn't play Syndicate, and I didn't play Origins that much. I played probably like a quarter of it, and I was getting annoyed. And Odyssey's the last one I really sat down and played with. But that was the first one for years, and the series has taken a year off and stuff. So I feel like with Assassin's Creed as well, and Call of Duty especially, I'm exactly the same. Like I didn't touch Call of Duty for years, right? I got into this like great. Fucking love. As everyone knows, we keep talking about it.
Yeah,
we love Call of Duty, right? But,
Call of Duty, yeah. But not enough to install the 30 gig patches because fuck that.
Yeah, no.
I just think that like it's come at the right time, and I think this is like a game that will be good. It might not even age well, but it'll be what everyone wants at the time. Like it reminded me of Liam last week talking about playing Shadow of what's the first one called? Shadow of Mordor, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or War, yeah.
Shadow of Mordor,
wasn't it? Yeah, right. So that was like, at the time, on my PlayStation 4, that was like really cool. It looked amazing, the parkour. Very much like Assassin's Creed, actually. It was very... Now, like looking back, I fully believe that I would feel how Liam feels. Like it was very... I reckon that's what it'll be like in years to come with Valhalla, but I reckon at the time...
Yeah.
I feel like and another. Do you know what another game I got on my PS4 was Watch Dogs, which is Ubisoft, right? And at the time, I was just like amazed with all the, advances in technology from the PS3 at that point. So yeah, like I'm interested, and we'll see what happens because we'll talk about it next week, I guess. Because this week coming up, there's the flipping. It is the 7th, I think, which is on Friday, maybe. Yeah. So Xbox are showing off a bunch of third-party developers' games for the next gen. So we're actually going to see, because it's third-party, I think a lot of these games will be on PS5, right? Mm-hmm. But we're going to see the new consoles in action. So we'll see how much of a downgrade they got from those nice pictures that we saw for Valhalla, or if it really does look amazing. I feel like there's a chance it could because it's next gen. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. I think this is it's gonna be decent.
I'm there's not much I'm actually looking forward to in terms of games at the moment. Where I'm really out and out thinking, I can't wait to play that.
Yeah,
Elden Ring feels a bit distant. I'm looking forward to it, but that won't really grab me in terms of interest until like the week or two before it's coming out, I think.
Yeah.
But this, for some reason, whatever reason it is, I think maybe it's the thought of next gen as well. I'm up for it. I'm really, really, really looking forward to playing it.
It just seems like it's going to be a no-brainer. You'll be able to buy the PS5 with the FIFA bundle. You'll be able to buy a PS5 with the car game bundle, or you'll be able to get the Assassin's Creed bundle. And I feel like a lot of people will be getting it, and it's just going to be one of them. So I guess that was the biggest thing that happened in the news this week, right? The Assassin's Creed thing. They kind of...
Well, yeah. I mean, we've got an email about something else that happened, which we can talk about quickly, I guess. I mean, you guys have played a couple of games as well. We'll talk about them in a bit, I guess, that we haven't talked about too much. But if you want to send us an email, it's dearspecialmoves@gmail.com. That's dearspecialmoves@gmail.com. This one's come from Dylan Rafferty in London, who's 23.
Nice one, Dylan. Thanks for that age, sex, location. Can't believe it.
He says, Dear Special Moves, with the backlash on the internet to Final Fantasy VII Remake story changes, to Death Stranding and The Last of Us 2 leaks, I'm starting to think that the internet can't handle anything spicier than a cucumber sandwich. P.S. Regarding the leaks, something so incredibly obvious, something if you've seen more than 5 films, something. P.P.S. Don't really read the PS out loud in case you spoil some very naive souls. So that's from Dylan, who's sent us several PSs about spoilers. He reckons that the internet can't handle anything spicier than a cucumber sandwich.
I like it. I like that, yeah. I think that's true.
Yeah, I tend to agree as well, where there has been a bit of a weird thing where fans have been expecting a story to sort of go the way they want it to, but when the creator decides to do something different to what the fans were expecting, they go a bit mad. Yeah.
It goes back to Mass Effect 3 for me, that. It's the old, we hate this ending, and then BioWare kind of changed the ending of Mass Effect 3 because people were angry.
And then they went, oh, do you know what? Let me, right, people just don't like opinionated people on the internet. They hate it, yeah. They don't like hearing people's opinions that aren't their own, right? Unless they listen to podcasts. But, I don't know. People are just dicks, aren't they, right? Let me tell you what I was doing before this. I was on Twitter, and first thing that came up was the guy who plays the Mountain from Game of Thrones, yeah? Mm-hmm. He was, I don't know if Mike's gone or he's just very still. Oh, no, he's just very still.
No, he's
Mike,
he's just chilling.
He didn't move to the point where, I was even looking at the pixels on your webcam to see if there was movement. Anyway, right, so the guy that plays the Mountain from Game of Thrones lifted 0.5 ton today, right, or yesterday or whatever. Point is, it doesn't matter when it was yesterday. This is the point. It doesn't matter that it was yesterday. It doesn't matter if it was today. It doesn't matter if it was tomorrow. The guy, a man, lifted 0.5 ton. 0.5 ton, guys. He lifted 0.5 ton. But you've got these people who have probably got the same body shape as me, sitting on their sofa on Twitter for Android, tweeting, well, isn't it funny how he couldn't lift 0.5 ton last month when it was at a competition, but all of a sudden at his own gym he can lift it. Doesn't count. Yeah. There's a man lifting 0.5 ton, and there's people that look like me saying doesn't even fucking count. Well, where was the Guinness World Records?
It's even like when you if you search for something where you need a bit of help, or you're like, oh, how do I fucking set up my sound bar or something? Anything like that. Yeah. You jump in a forum, right, and the first, second, or third answer will almost always be, well, if you weren't so ignorant, you'd know that you need this, this, and this.
Or why have you even got that soundbar? Yeah. The answer is actually get a better soundbar. So that's what happened with The Last of Us, right? So I've seen some Last of Us spoilers. Don't even want to speak like them or whatnot, but you've got people that are like crying about it because it's just not like when you hear what they want, it's just, I don't know, it's just I don't know what to say. Like, other than like, why aren't they doing it themselves? But that sounds like that's a bad bit of criticism, because you can't always say that. Well, let's see you do better, because that's not fair. There are people that have got good opinions and they just don't have the time to developing games. And like Naughty Dog are under some like legitimate fire for the way that they've treated their staff and things like that. Doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Leaking the game has been it's been a talking point all week, I think, because
definitely
they've been like Jason Schreier said he doesn't condone the leaks, and then people were saying, but you don't leak stuff, but you just tell everybody that something's happening, and you leak events, but you don't leak the plot. And is that any much more different? And like everyone's just been arguing online in it, and like
pretty much.
I don't know. I don't want to say what I think about any of the spoilers, but I'm going to get the game anyway. It doesn't really matter, does it? Like, if you know the end of something, sometimes if it's a game anyway, because it's about playing the game, right? A lot of it is.
I think the thing with like these spoilers as well is a lot of them were just like screenshots of certain things happening in the game and like listed out bullet points.
Yeah.
Whereas if you look back at the original Last of Us, if you put that plot into like bullet point form, that would look shit as well. For me, it comes down to the execution of it. Like, and I trust Naughty Dog because I've actually seen all the spoilers because it got spoiled for me. So I just thought, screw it, I'll read them all. And I think it'll come down to the execution of it, to be honest. Like, if I trust that Naughty Dog can make it good, well, they can like make it seem like, I don't know, cinematic or whatever, I guess. Like,
yeah, nothing's going to be cinematic in plot in bullet points, right?
Exactly,
and The Last of Us, the first one, the story is okay compared to most video game stories where it's actually quite bad.
Disagree.
Yeah, you don't think it's okay, or you think it's better than okay?
Last of Us 1?
Yeah.
I think it's great. It's got a great ending.
Yeah. But by TV standards, right? This is what I'm saying. It's a different level, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like the Sopranos pilot. It's just good TV episode. It's an HBO episode 3 of season 2 writing. But it's like, because video games don't normally put that much of an emphasis on like a really well told story, that it's not just like one of 3 things happen at the end of every game. When you figure that out, it's a bit, I don't know, it wasn't very formulaic, I don't think.
No, like Last of Us 1 wasn't formulaic, but at its core it was. Grumpy old man learns to love again by bonding with someone over a long journey across America, which is pretty much...
Which you've seen told by Disney animated films where one is a bear and...
It's literally nearly every post-apocalyptic bit of media about is 2 people from opposite ends of life learning to bond and come together.
Exactly. But it's just kind of the point in it, Liam, that you're making is that the story isn't...
I was what made Last of Us 1 good was the performances of the actors, the even down to stuff like the pacing of it and the way they would cut scenes at the end on certain lines of dialogue, and the way even like the in-game camera was positioned really does affect like how a scene comes across and how
absolutely
it's like which is why I'm saying, like, with these Last of Us 2 leaks, I don't think seeing the plot written out in a bullet point form is really enough to go off to decide if the game is utter trash or not, which is what some people have jumped straight to saying, I don't like this is trash.
Oh yeah, but most people are morons, and unfortunately, I mean that's just handling anything like that is just stupid. To react to anything like that is stupid. But I would have been. I think if I would have known how the last scene of The Last of Us Part 1 ended, I would have really missed. I would have lost a lot out of that. The ending was such a clincher, and to have such a ballsy ending and have like a for again, like Jake was saying about comparing it to TV and stuff. For a video game to really be brave enough to piss loads of people. And remember, at the time, you had exactly the same kind of crowd, like fucking rabble of people going, this is rubbish, you need to change it.
Yeah.
And it's the the same. It's on the same scale, but I would have lost something if I knew about like that's how it was going to end, and just the uncertainty, especially for like the final act where you're wondering how the fuck is what the whole final level of The Last of Us is kind of on. You know what I mean? The big crazy moment at the end of The Last of Us. Is kind of imagine you knew how it was all going to pan out when you were playing it. I think it's that's kind of what I haven't gone anywhere near these like spoilers and stuff, because even though I'm not excited for The Last of Us, I still want to have an element of mystery when I'm watching stuff, because that's absolutely essential for me.
The game is going to bang, I reckon, and I'm looking forward to a Naughty Dog game to play through. Like Uncharted, I think that's got a shit story, but it's so fun to play. Like. But because it's like really like bombastic and there's explosions and you're jumping fucking rock to rock for the majority of it, or shooting people with grenade launchers. But this is going to be like tense and cool. And I don't know, man. Like I just don't know what it is about The Last of Us that attracts so many dickheads. Can you remember when there was the girl on girl kiss? Remember?
Yeah, it's because it's popular, isn't it? And it's because it's got a strong male lead, or the first one did.
Yeah, they all want a Joel in their life, man.
I think
that's the thing.
Yeah, it's way too early to jump to conclusions about The Last of Us 2 when you basically all the context is missing. Like, you don't know what these story beats are happening, what the situation is. Because like I said, it was pretty much it was bullet points and a couple of like 480p videos that were leaked online and a few really blurry screenshots.
There's a couple of things that I did like about this leak, right? Not like, but it was quite funny. The guy just started leaking shit, and everyone was like, "Yeah, right." And then he started going, "Oh yeah, boom!" It's like you activated this trap card. He just goes, "There's video."
See, I was just saying, did you see they figured out who it was as well this morning? It was someone.
Jason Schreier.
It wasn't Jason Schreier. It was
What a twist! What a twist!
It was him all along. No, someone found like a very old exploit in Uncharted, which gave them access to Naughty Dog servers, and it was a hacker. A hacker managed to get into the Naughty Dog servers and basically downloaded like terabytes of data, and then published it.
That's actually quite scary.
Because there was a thing going around online that people were saying it was like an employee who felt wronged,
scorned. But
that's not the case. It was like some hacker just got access to the server and decided, I'm just going to publish all this.
It's a shame, but it's weird that they went from it being postponed indefinitely, keyword being indefinitely there. So now it's out in June. I reckon
the timing was a bit suspect on that.
But yeah, like we said it last week, didn't we? That we thought it was going to be a launch title or whatever. Maybe it was in a bonus podcast. Yeah, for PS5, and now, well, because of the leaks, that's kind of what has happened. We've now got it. This time next month will be the 1 week hype train for Last of Us, at least for me, anyway. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. I'm looking forward to playing it, and I'm looking forward to hearing the music again, hearing that soundtrack and all the little bits like that, walking through some nice overran post-apocalyptic stuff. I feel like it's been a while.
If you watched Narcos Mexico Season 2, it's the same composer, and it felt like he was just reusing like tracks he didn't use in The Last of Us.
One Trick Pony, sort of.
It really, honestly, like Season 2 of that show had like a very big Last of Us vibe because of the music.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to all the little pieces and stuff like that. I feel like just like there's been like, remember the very very first Last of Us? We were all in the same room actually when we watched the Last of Us reveal, and it was like some really like brutal torture porny thing, wasn't it? And then there was like the sort of the sentimental moment intercut with throat slitting, which is I always remember that because it was quite funny.
I think we watched two different trailer things, didn't we? Watched the one, was it Paris Games Week? That was like the really like brutal hammer attack or whatever it was. And then they did an E3 demo, which it had that like the kiss Like
that's it.
Like slowly dissolving into someone getting stabbed in the neck.
So like after all that, I'm interested. I'm more interested than usual. Give me the brutality.
I trust in Naughty Dog, to be honest. I trust that they will make something that's definitely worth playing.
Yeah, just don't make me carve my own bullets like all the other edgy games. I feel like that's, this sort of realism, grit, because that's the thing, when people say they want a game gritty, that's normally a red flag for me.
Yeah.
I'm always like, you mean you want to see tits and you want to be a cowboy in it, but don't make me carve the bullets like in Red Dead Redemption 2 and I'll be happy. But, you didn't hear that from me, boys, all right?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing worth pointing out. Before Red Dead 2 came out, everyone was complaining that we don't want to play as this Arthur Morgan. They wanted to play as John Marston. And then when it came out, everyone was like, we love Arthur Morgan. Why can't we have another game as him?
What do we want? Sexy bearded men. When do we want it? No!
Yeah.
No lesbians. Yeah. No strangers. I want familiar men with beards, and that's all I want. But yeah, so The Last of Us 2 got leaked this week. Thanks for your email.
Yeah. So that was that. I reckon...
Mike looks like he's been playing Lego Rock Raiders, mate, while we were talking. Like,
no,
got a second PC out, have you?
You mentioned a bit of music. I just wanted to let you know, Jake. Yeah, Supreme Commander. I was telling you about, right?
Yeah,
strategy game. Yeah, Jeremy Soule. Jeremy Soule.
Was it? Yeah.
2005 or something. 2006. I can't remember.
Well,
just hitting his prime.
That's a subject you don't want to go near.
I was gonna say, that's when we all thought he was an innocent man. But yeah, Jeremy Soule. That was the year before the Oblivion soundtrack as well. So did he have a good year with Supreme Commander as well, Mike?
Yeah, it's fucking amazing. Yeah.
So actually, speaking of that, and Elder Scrolls, Skyrim, I guess, is the closest we've got to like a big Viking hit. If you think about it,
there's a new fucking Elder Scrolls game. Jesus, I forgot about that.
Yep, so some way away, and I don't think that'll be Viking-y, will it?
I'm going to say 2023 for Elder Scrolls 6.
It's a way away, isn't it?
Because they're meant to have that
Starfield Spaceland, whatever the fuck it's called. Yep,
that's God, yeah. Shit, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. Meanwhile, like Fallout 76 is still ticking over. God, I'm seeing that a lot coming up,
It's having a bit of a resurgence.
I think there's a lot of money behind that, though, isn't there? I don't think it's any good still.
Pete Hines has finally crawled out of the woodwork and made the video this weekend as well. After going missing for a while. So yeah. No, they've put a lot into events and stuff like that, bad looks of it.
Pete Hines up there with Kim Jong-un for prominent disappearances that have since been disproven. I forgot about them Bethesda games, I completely
think everyone did.
Yeah.
Too early. Maybe they just announced it. Like, wait. I remember you guys saying, I think Jake especially saying at the time, that it was just Elder Scrolls 6 was just announced way too early. Like, it just seems like
it was an After Effects template.
Yeah. It seems like they were fucking pitching it to us more than actually saying that there is a game on the way. It was almost like, wouldn't it be great if someone did an Elder Scrolls game? Yeah,
they were doing it just for the cheers in the room at the E3 conference. You know what I mean?
To prove to the investors that there was an appetite for it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, man. But I'm really looking forward to that. I knew Elder Scrolls has been, exciting for me. So every time. And they haven't actually disappointed. So Fallout 76 might have been just a blip. Am I going to get that Starfield game on day one? Yes, I am. You know what I mean?
I am. Right, so you guys played a couple of games that we haven't really spent much time on yet. Cloudpunk and a bit of Streets of Rage and Gears Tactics.
That is true.
So I'll leave it up to you, lads. Whatever you want to talk about, innit?
Go back to Rock Raiders for a sec, right?
Yeah. Where do you want to start?
Do you want me to do Cloudpunk quickly? Because it's not that long and there's not much I can say about spoiling it. But Cloudpunk is a game that came out, I think last week. In fact, somebody on our Twitter, which is Hey Special Moves on Twitter, just said that they thought we'd like it. I'm really sorry that I forgot who it was because obviously it worked. Like I thought, that does look good. Yeah. So, the developer was like, have a key. So I got a key. Thought, yeah, it does look good. It's like a low poly. In fact, and this isn't. I'm not just like being hard on Mike here, but it looks like Lego. It does actually look like Lego. It's not low poly like in a Goose Game way. It's bricky. It's a bricky neon game where you play as like this semi-legal taxi driver who is just a cargo delivery person who's just delivering packages. Don't ask what's in the packages around this like city in a floating hover car. It's a narrative game, even though it's not like you definitely control the car. It's got because you're a floating car, you choose the altitude and that, as well as the routes. Like, you're not on rails, and it's not like you're just stuck on roads. You can go off-road and like fly in between buildings and stuff like that, which is really cool. It kind of reminds me of G-Police, if you remember G-Police.
I do remember G-Police.
But that style thing, and then the areas, like you go through like a tunnel, which is a loading screen, which loads up the next area. But yeah, it's very cyberpunky. You've got your high-tech, low lifestyle thing where you're in some sort of like slum, and then you end up, as the night kind of goes on, you end up delivering stuff to like the higher class people that of course live in like spires above the clouds, compared to like, you've got the story being told through that verticality and shit like that. It came out on the 23rd of April, which is like just over a week ago. And yeah, there's something about the game looked interesting. If it's got a story to tell, I'm normally interested. If it was just like Crazy Taxi but with a hover car, I don't know if I'd be as interested in it. So how do you make a game about being a taxi driver like a narrative game? Well, it's kind of just, you're in the car, hover car thing, and it's just like you get phone calls from your boss in kind of a codec moment, and then you do get out the car and walk around. That bit is pretty boring, actually, so I don't really want to spend too much time talking about it. But you do go around on the floor. It just feels very much like a PS1 game where like it's completely bare minimum. Like, you can explore a lot of places, but what you get and do there is really not of note. Like, to be honest, that's like my big criticism about the game. Like, driving around is really cool. It's dead easy to, move about, and you can take any route you want. But and like, it looks nice and it sounds cool and it's really relaxing. You're in the car and you've got the guy telling you about, you need to deliver this package, and then maybe the package has got somebody in and they stop talking to you. And you also take the soul of your dead dog and USB stick it into your car, and it's basically like your sat nav. So your car's speaking to you, but it's like the soul of your dog, kind of like in that Altered Carbon, where human, is the consciousness can be imported and exported from human shells, kind of thing. So you've got your dead dog. You're trying to afford a new body for the dog, and yeah, you've got this story of basically how you got to be in the city because you come from like a different area, and it's because it's so narrative heavy and it relies on like twists and things like that. I don't really want to say anything else, but yeah, it's quite good. It's got this like PS1 vibe to it. Even the way like the voice lines are delivered, it's quite maybe the developer's mates. Maybe he went on Fiverr.com and spent 750 quid. Like, but it's quite charming actually, because it's not like they're not going for like a golden joystick, but the purposefully like retro graphics and the retro music. The voice lines just kind of fit in with it, if you know what I mean. Like, you feel like if that was really polished, it might even like take something away from this weird warp through time that you're doing. So yeah, that was Cloudpunk. I got it on Steam. I think that's the only place you can get it, actually. You might not. Sorry, that's not a very good representation of where you can buy it, but it's worth Googling. And you'll look at the aesthetics and you'll go, oh yeah. And then maybe you should buy it if you like that look. But basically, that's how you know if you want it or not. If you immediately go, that looks good, you'll enjoy it. But if you don't like the look of it, there's not really that much there for you, to be honest, unless you're a massive narrative game junkie.
Yeah.
Cloudpunk, that's it. That's all I got to say.
It does look quite nice, I've got to say.
Yeah, I like the art style on it.
Yeah, okay. Liam, you've been playing... what have you been playing then?
I've been playing this week Streets of Rage 4 and Gears Tactics. Do you want me to go Gears Tactics? Go chronological order?
Yeah.
Alright, so yeah,
Let's do it.
Gears Tactics came out for PCs on Tuesday the 28th of April. Yep. And so it's a tactical spin-off of the Gears of War franchise, which you might think, Gears of War, isn't that all about big burly men and chainsaws running at aliens and devouring them and whatever? How do you make that a tactics game? How would that work as a tactics game? The answer, quite well, actually. And so yeah, I played, I think, half of the campaign. At least that's what the guide online told me. Told me I was about halfway through. And so it's the whole thing is you go on missions with a squad of 4, and you have like hero units and just like regular soldier recruits. Your hero units have like passive skills and everything. And then I think there's 4 types of unit. There's heavies, vanguards, scouts, snipers. Oh, and what are they called? I forget their name, but they're basically like they're just called support. Actually, they're like combat medics sort of thing.
Right.
Yeah. And so like the gameplay of it is very XCOM 2-ish, I guess, where you have this bird's eye view of a battlefield. You get to command the squad, and each member of the squad gets 3 action points, I think, per turn. And then you can use your different skills to get more or less, depending on what you want to do. You can customize each soldier, and each class has 4 like subclasses within it in the skill tree. So you can you can have like 2 heavies in your squad, but they could play vastly differently depending how you spec them out, sort of thing.
Oh, cool. Okay, yeah.
And so it's got the whole like XCOM thing. It even does the you'll try and take a shot at a locust, and it'll say 90% chance to hit, and you'll miss it every time because fuck you. That's why.
Yeah.
That was quite frustrating. But I have to say, I don't know really how qualified I am to speak about it because I am not a big fan of tactics games. But I did like my time with Gears Tactics. I thought it was very smooth. It was very polished. It was very fun to play. It still retains that because Gears of War is like known for its like impact, I guess, in the combat, and somehow they've managed to translate that into a turn-based tactical game. So
that's cool.
And they've kept all the trademarks of Gears of War. Like you can still do chainsaw executions and everything on your enemies, which actually gives you a bonus action point for that turn if you get the execution.
Right.
But yeah, it's like it's as far as tactics games go, I would say it's a pretty good one. It's very user friendly, very accessible, very idiot proof, which is good for me because I'm very, very bad at these types of games. And I quite like it from what I played. I don't think I'm going to play any more of it, to be honest, just because that's not me speaking to the quality of the game at all. It is a good quality game. It's just I've had my fill of it and I want to move on to something else.
Yeah, and, it's PC only, is that right?
It's PC only for the minute. It's coming to Xbox One eventually. But I don't know, because it's got good reviews. People seem to be liking it quite a lot. But I'm not sure what the actual tactical game audience think of it. Because I've seen a few people online say it's a bit too streamlined. These are the people who as soon as they boot up XCOM 2, they're straight into Iron Man mode, permadeath all the way, or don't even bother playing the game sort of ideas. But yeah, it's because Gears Tactics, it is very action focused. It's pretty much just mission after mission after mission. There's no in between. There's no base management. There's no trying to sort out tech tree upgrades with scientists and sending people to research like you can in XCOM 2. Yeah. It is just purely focused on the action sort of side of it, really. The only sort of...
Well, that seems like a bit of I'm interested to see how that holds up in that case, because that's a really actually important part of the XCOM kind of package, and perhaps that I can see why I can see why you'd maybe fall off it if it's just, combat after combat after combat with not much, just kind of breaking that up.
Yeah.
Which I think is really important. Like the management bit of the football management comparison is really, you're not just constantly games of football. You're like managing your team and moving people around and upgrading things and training and whatever. Like it's a really big part of it in XCOM, I think. So that's what I'm most interested to see is how it kind of, how it handles it without having, much, if any, of that.
Yeah, because like the only sort of management aspect to Gears Tactics is deciding how to spec out your characters, I guess, and what loadout of characters you want to take into the mission with you. It does place some restrictions on you every so often, like you can't use this unit because they're away doing something for story reasons. But that's really about as deep as the management gets. There is an equipment system as well, so like you can customize each squad member's individual like set of armor, their weapon. You can change the barrel on their rifle to give them a 5% accuracy boost and stuff like that. But that's about as deep as the management gets in it, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I liked it. I thought it was a good game. Like, I think if you're like me and you're not very big into tactical games, but you are looking to get into them, Gears Tactics is a good starting point, I think.
Strikes me a little bit like Halo Wars or something. Do you know what I mean? Like where it's quite a close comparison, actually, I think, where they've got a property already and they're giving you a game in that kind of universe that's, kind of like barely scratching the surface of what, that genre does, but it's still like palatable and well presented and polished and slick and all that sort of stuff. And I really like Halo Wars, and I don't even remotely have any of this kind of snobbery about lack of depth or anything like that. But fun, it's good and it's well presented and there's cool story stuff in it. And I don't care that there's not that placement and stuff like that. It's just another good game as far as I'm concerned. So I don't see why you would take against it unless you are, like you're saying, Liam, like one of these especially kind of hardcore like turn-based game fans. But it sounds cool. I will play it. I was looking forward to it for weeks. I don't know why I haven't got around to it. It's just the allure of Lego Rock Raiders, isn't it? It's hard to look away.
Sure, man.
I will play it. Eventually.
I spoke about XCOM Chimera Squad and Liam spoke about Gear Tactics. That's when you've let it slip, man. Like you know what I mean? If you ever do What Remains of Edith Finch 2, I know I've gone too far. Like do you know what I mean?
And there was something else. There was one other thing.
Streets of Rage 4.
Streets of Rage 4.
Which I have finished. Yep. I finished it twice.
Okay, well, I only got about probably halfway. I got to like level 5, Liam. How far am I? Is that even halfway?
There's 12 stages, so you're just under halfway.
Fuck. Yeah.
It's one of those games where your first playthrough will take you like 4 or 5 hours, but then once you've got the rhythm of it down, you can get through it in like an hour, maybe 2.
Like Resident Evil 7.
Well, yeah, it's one of those games. You just like it's like an old Genesis Mega Drive game, which is exactly what they're going for, just with a few modern flourishes.
What do you reckon of it? Because we haven't played it together. We probably should have, but
no co-op.
No, I didn't even do online co-op either. I just played it by myself.
I just played it solo.
And did you play Axel?
I did. I played Axel, and this is probably where it differs most. Like the characters play very differently from each other, and my first playthrough, I played as Axel, who is a Streets of Rage mainstay. And I wasn't really enjoying it that much, to be honest, on my first playthrough, because Axel can't run. He is very slow and lumbering, but he hits hard, whereas I prefer to play the faster, more nimble characters in games like this. And it felt like the game... Well, the game's quite difficult anyway, even on normal. It'll challenge you, to be fair. Even for a brawler. But then I did another playthrough as a new character called Cherry, who is she's quite fast, and I enjoyed my second playthrough much more than I did my first one. I think it is a good game, Streets of Rage 4. Very nice callback to that sort of old genre of side-scrolling brawler. And it's got good music. The art style is nice, which I know a few people aren't fond of it because it's not pixel art like the originals. It looks more like a comic book panel type thing going on in this one. And but I quite like it. And it's getting very good reviews as well from everyone else, from what I've seen. I think Eurogamer gave it an essential, you have to play this sort of thing. I don't think it's quite that good. It is good, it is fun, but there's a few minor quibbles I have with it, I guess. The bosses, I think, have a bit too many iframes, and they can pretty much just chug through your attacks, even though they can stagger you instantly and stuff like that. And there's a few little bullshit moments that got on my nerves a little bit, but nothing that you couldn't get through once you learnt the pattern of them and stuff like that. Which I guess is it's part and parcel of the genre itself. Going back and replaying stages to learn the essential way through it, I guess.
Yeah, I felt like that. I died to a boss or something, and then just was like, "This is fucking bullshit." And then you remember exactly what they've done. I played the Golden Axe trilogy all the way through a couple of months ago on the Switch, and it's exactly the same thing. Exactly. It's almost like exactly what you'd expect. Yeah. There's I played as Axel, and then I played a bit as Blaze, and it was different. But yeah, it was. I played it on normal, quite challenging. I like that.
Sorry,
go on, Liam.
No, I was going to say I do think the Streets of Rage 4 is designed with co-op in mind, because there's a few stages that definitely feel like this feels like a bit too many enemies for one player to take on by themselves. It definitely feels like it's meant to be played co-op for the ideal experience.
Yeah, I wonder how it would adapt if you played co-op. Would they add even more enemies or not? I couldn't quite figure that out. But I like that there is they did hide the retro stuff in there. The first thing I did was I paused the game and I put the soundtrack on to retro. And there's secret levels that are all inspired by the 16-bit shit. So that was pretty good. But it was good, and it was on Game Pass as well. Yeah, as well as Gears Tactics. So didn't have to buy it.
Yeah, it's well worth a go, I'd say. And a nice revival of a franchise that was long thought dead, I guess.
Dead.
There you go. So not a bad week, really. Quite a few new things there, wasn't there? Unlike next week. Should we do the new releases?
Yeah, go on.
All 2 of them, which are re-releases of things that are already out. So new games, well, the ones I could see anyway, are John Wick Hex, which is out on PS4 on Tuesday, May the 5th.
I played this on
Liam, you played this. What is it?
So it is I don't know how to describe it, really. It's a real-time strategy game, I guess. Kind of like, I think the closest comparison I can make is Transistor. You had to pause the game in Transistor and plan out your moves.
Sweet.
That's what John Wick Hex is like, and it's sort of like choreographing your own John Wick action scenes. It's you have to weigh up, do I roll at this guy, shoot him, and then do I have time to reload before the next lot of goons burst into the room? And it's all managed by a little time bar on the top of your screen. So you have to so it'll say it'll take 2 seconds to reload your gun, but it'll take 1.5 seconds for the goon to run up to you and hit you and stuff like that. So it's all it's real time with pause, I guess. It's a very unique game, and it's got that sort of low poly art style again, where it's everything's sort of very simplistic textures. It's good. It's a good game.
Invisible Ink. Do you know what the graphics are probably most like, though, actually, if you look at it, is Void Bastards. Which is
the other game, which is out again next week.
But it really, really is the closest game to it when I look at it. Have a look, Mike. John Wick X is like Void Bastards.
It's a good game.
At least the rooms.
So are we going to move on to Void Bastards, or do you want to say some more about John Wick, Liam?
I mean, I don't know what else there is to say about it, to be honest. It
sounds good.
Yeah,
sounds good. I got to say. I mean, I love Transistor. I really fucking love Transistor. And I like John Wick, so I'll have a look at it.
It's good. Good game.
So yeah, Void Bastards is coming to Nintendo Switch and PS4 on Thursday. That's May the 7th. This is a FPS sci-fi roguelike thing, which I think both of you guys played.
We did a video about it.
Yeah, we made a separate video, which you can find on our channel somewhere. And it's also, if you don't want to wait a couple of days, whenever Mike said it was out, Thursday or whatever, it's on Game Pass.
Yeah, PC and Xbox. It looks quite good. I don't know why I never played this. It looks like I'd be into it, but I seem to remember both of you being kind of like, you kind of like it.
Yeah, I feel more like, no. I like roguelike, but this isn't a good example of the roguelike genre. It's good for other reasons, but I just don't like the roguelike elements to it. And if you're going to do a roguelike game...
It started to feel a bit repetitive after a while as well, like because you like hop in from spaceship to spaceship, and they all start to feel a bit samey after a while. And the combat isn't great in it, but I do like. It's got a very good sense of humor. It's very like cheeky British sense of humor to it.
Yeah,
and the art's nice, and I'd say play it.
I think there are some Australian guys involved or something like that, if I remember.
That wouldn't surprise me.
The dev team's kind of like, all over the world kind of thing. Like it's just a guy here, a guy there,
Yeah.
So that's cool. That's a couple of games there that I'm not sure if we're going to be playing next week, but I'm sure we'll find something to talk about in the next podcast.
I played them both already, so...
Yeah, Liam's already fucking weeks ahead.
Exactly.
I got something to be getting on with this week. I might get Assassin's Creed Odyssey if I can find it for cheaper than £55.
Yeah, well, it's on sale a lot, like the digital version.
Yeah,
it was on sale literally a week ago. It was on sale a week ago, but obviously with this, everyone's googling it, so they're taking a piss.
I think it's on sale on PC right now. I think I've seen it.
I won't play it on PC though. That's the thing. It'll have to be on the PS4, or I won't play it, and that's facts. So it's like, is Origins worth a go? Do you reckon?
I didn't get on so well with that, but yeah, Liam liked it.
I liked Origins. It's just it's like you played Odyssey at Mike's house, right?
Yep.
Origins is just like that, but on a smaller scale.
Okay,
I like that. What it is.
Yeah, well, we'll find out, won't we, next week when we talk about that, as well as talking about the new generation games, which is actually
our first look.
Could be amazing, but
hopefully.
Yep, could also be shit, but we will find out. It's our first. It's our first proper look at the new stuff and the start of what's going to be a summer of digital conferences online. Yep. But guess where our boys Nintendo are? Nowhere to be found. They're not doing one for E3, are they? So
they said they won't do one for June because of logistic issues. I think they said.
Yeah, everybody knows it's harder to upload a video on YouTube in June. It's just harder. But yeah, we'll see the new consoles next week. So thanks everybody for tuning in and listening and watching live and listening to the audio on the podcast services.
And remember to send us your emails, dearspecialmoves@gmail.com if you've got anything to say. Any comments, questions, anything like that, any stories you want to tell us, send us emails and we'll have a little read. Thanks for listening, innit?
Bye-bye.
Bye.